Okay, welcome to the Sprint 4 demo for the pub team. Our main goal of the sprint was to complete a V1 release of alternate name searching. And we had quite a few issues here, about 52. We're using the waffle board as our main planning tool. And what I thought I would do is sort of just walk through how alternate names works. So this is the CAP UI. CAP, again, is a profile tool. It shows people's profiles and so forth. And one of the settings that you can do is you can edit import settings, and you can enter in alternate names and emails and institutions in that UI. So what we've done is we've ingested that data for author identities into our database in a new table called author's identity, and it has about 10,000 different author identities. Most of them come from Stanford or are for all institutions, but there are a large number of alternate institutions in here as well. And authors tend to have a few alternate identities, so as many as 15 alternate identities for a single author. So one of the major refactorings that we did in order to enable this feature was we refactored the way that we interface with ScienceWire. ScienceWire is the service from Thomson Reuters that allows us to do these queries for alternate names. So we have a new API set of classes for the 3 different APIs that we're using at ScienceWire. And we've introduced in this sprint a harvest broker that mediates between the different APIs and the different query objects that we have and makes the requests on behalf of the callee. Let's see, so the harvest broker, for instance, has a generate IDs method that goes off and queries the appropriate APIs at ScienceWire and returns a list of IDs, which are publication IDs, that we can then fetch from ScienceWire to get metadata about, bibliographic data about that particular publication. So we have IDs for alternate names and IDs for authors as well. So this is where we've implemented the alternate names. So, we've integrated data. We've built data integration tests for automated data integration tests for this feature, and I'm just going to show you some log output here to get an idea of how this alternate names works. So we've got a author here with many seed publications, and they have the harvest broker goes ahead and determines that it wants to use the smart query. The ScienceWire smart query basically allows us to provide seed publications for a particular author, and it generates suggestions based on that. So in this particular case, Russ Altman has 446 seed publications. The harvest broker goes ahead and queries for the smart query for journal document suggestions, and it does that through this match publication items IDs for author API, and it finds 103 publications. And one of the things that we do is we have logic in the search that allows us to, for the smart query, we do 2 different document types. We do journal documents and conference proceeding documents. So that's why you see 2 different queries here for the smart query, and the broker is what's mediating that. So it found 2 publications for that. Then it goes on, and we have an alternate identity here for Russ Altman. It looks like they put in the initials R and B rather than Russ Biagio. And so for the alternate queries, alternate identities, we use the DUM query. This is the basic query. And it calls this, the broker goes ahead and calls the query, publication query by author name, that API, and this is sort of the syntax that it is. It's sort of a Boolean logic syntax. And in this case, it found 124 publications. We go and we find another alternate identity, this time without the middle name, and it finds 154 publications with that query. So one of the things that we're doing is, once we get back all these publications, we have to uniqueify them. So that's one of the things that we're going to be doing. And finally, there's a new API call on our end for triggering these harvests. So at the bottom here, this is our documentation for this particular API. You call the endpoint authors and the CAP profile ID and then harvest, and you can say whether or not you want the alternate names in that harvest. And this has a full specification for this endpoint. And what it does is it goes off and it fires off what's known as a delayed job, and in the background it will run the harvesting, and if the alt name is true, it'll do that harvesting. So that's it for the Sprint 4 demo, and we'll go off air.